Hello and welcome to Petrol Media Inc. I'm your host, Terrence Anderson, and today I decided I was going to finally talk about the interface that I chose to get the Midas into the computer. Now, because of the issues with the last interface, basically it aged out of itself. Like I couldn't use the BSS sound web cards anymore. I spent about $5,000 each card. One handled in and one handled out. So I had 16 channels in, 16 channels out. Digitally, it was like 256 channels if I went over Adat. But I didn't have the Adat option inside of here. So that became the option to get everything in and out. And the board itself, that's a whole nother conversation on how much I paid for that. But with the whole setup, it worked well for many, many years. However, with things changing and, OS updates, et cetera, it became something that just wasn't sustainable anymore. So what did I decide to go with going forward? So to get sounds out of the MPC 5000 and the Roland Phantom X that are connected together into the Midas and all the way to the computer, what I decided to do was, like you saw in the last video, is use and take advantage of the summing mix. Most mixing consoles these days come with a summing section. Usually it's 4 channels or 8 channels. 8 channels is pretty standard. It's rare when you're going to find more than 8 channels as an option. And what that allows me to do is to take any of the 32 channels and route them into here. What I've been testing since getting rid of the sound cards that I was using before is this. This is a Behringer Adat input. Now I know what everybody's going to say because, everyone's split on the Behringer thing, whether you either like it or you hate it or et cetera, et cetera. The reality is this brand and that brand are already linked because Behringer owns Midas. Or does Midas own Behringer? I don't know. I think it's the other way around. I think Behringer owns the brand Midas. Regardless of anything else, the benefit in this scenario, if I ever needed this, which I highly doubt I will ever actually need this, is that I have 8 more Midas preamps inside of this unit. And to link it all, I've routed the 8 channels out of there into here on the input. On the input side is on the front of the actual device. And it comes out ADAT light pipe as channels 9 through 16 into the SSL 12. Now the SSL 12 has been beautiful. Like I've loved this setup. If you think about it, years ago, we had to use high quality audio cards to get the sound into the computer, and make it work that way. And that usually meant that you had to spend a ton of money, like expensive, exorbitant fees to get that quality audio. If it wasn't from something that was running via ADAT light pipe or over network audio interfaces, you had to pony up the money to get high-end USB-C or Firewire or Thunderbolt, anything to do the same thing. You're going to drop thousands of dollars. With this, you don't have to do that. This was not that expensive. Now, I got it on Reverb. Again, like I said before, I'm not a huge fan of certain places to get used equipment. Guitar Center has been one of the best ones for me, I found, as well as Reverb. Reverb is amazing. But going with the option for getting 8 channels in, this wasn't enough. There was only 4 channels. The SSL 12 does handle more inputs because it does have ADAT light pipe in it. And I am able to get channels 9 through 16 on the SSL 12 to accept the input from here. So this all worked out. And for the price, it's a fraction of what I paid for everything else before. But this works beautifully. I've tested it several times. And the only reason you're not seeing it right now live is because I broke the computer. Didn't mean to do that, but it is what it is. And as you can see, things are still in the setup phase because I've been so busy with family stuff that I just haven't really had a chance to get around to this. To knock out projects, I've been using portable setups. I have a Dell laptop that I have that's configured with a ton of RAM. I think it's like 64 gigs of RAM in that thing. It's either 32 or 64, and it's pretty much a powerhouse. I prefer working on my Mac, but for the most part, I'm right now just doing the production And when I need to work on the Mac, I actually bring it in here and plug it up to that monitor and run it that way, because Apple screens are so expensive that I might as well buy, you know, another one at the price that it's gonna cost. I can get another used full unit for the price I would pay for, you know, just getting the screen itself. And I've been contemplating that back and forth. But for the most part, it works with that screen, it works with the screen behind me. So overall, I'm not that worried about it at the moment. The bigger thing was just I need to get all the production rolling again. So that's why I've been so silent. That's why you haven't heard anything from me for a while, because I've been so busy with everything else that I just haven't gotten around to dealing with, you know, this setup. That and some things are going to be changing in the near future related to this space. So I'm still keeping it. I'm still going to use it. I can't wait to take advantage of it, which I think you're going to start seeing more of it. I will start making more content. I also heard that somebody wanted me to do a deeper dive into the Phantom, the merger of the scenario for the two to work together with the MPC and the Phantom. The MPC and the Phantom is an amazing combination. Like, you don't understand how good it works together. And getting it to work and getting it to track in. With the newer Phantoms, you can track things in you know, via the USB card, I believe. With the older Phantom, you had to do it the old school way, but there's a resampling trick that you can do if you really wanted to do stereo stems. It's a process, but it works. So that's another way, but I recommend tracking it in directly, even if you have to do it 2 tracks at a time for whatever you're doing. But we'll get into that in another video. But yes, finally showing you guys what I'm working with and what I'm testing, and it works perfectly. I just have to finish putting it all together. And over the next week or two, I'm gonna finally put this place together so I can truly just get to work. There's been so much going on, and I'm excited to be on the other side of the road of all of this. If you like what I've been talking about, like, share, and subscribe, and catch me in the next video, and I will talk to you guys later. Thanks.